Dispel the differences between your opposites. Dive headfirst into the breadth of your being. Understand the small in all and all in small. See yourself in everything. Learn to resist the temptation to define, to attach yourself to definitions of good and bad, of right and wrong, and to swim in a sea of your totality. To begin to see yourself wholly. To sink into a softness of your eternal being, of your spirit, of your truth. To live undeniably in you. To retrieve your truth is to accept what is in the here and now, regardless of the persuasions, perceptions, or propensities of your ego and its biases towards right and wrong. So in the storm of right and wrong, to surrender, to observe, and to allow the egoic disruptions and temptations to define, to coerce, and to create narratives to unnatural ends. So I invite you in this video to observe this narrative curation by the ego unto unnatural ends, towards biases formed on painful past memories, based upon the urge to swerve from recurring past patterns. It is in your domain, in your power, to live wholly and fully, to live undeniably, to have the courage in the midst of the storm within to allow the storm, to not define the storm, to not control the storm, to not fight the storm, and once the storm has ended, not to build up stone walls to prevent future storms, or to not take action or new action or action into unfamiliar territory because of past storms, because of the fear of another storm, and to instead see the storm, to be the storm, to allow the storm, not to define the storm, not to remove yourself from the wisdom of the storm. Through definition, we lose inspiration. We lose the jewel within the storm once we define it. Because definition is a means to control. It is a means to condense. Because in moments in the storm, we feel overwhelmed and we can feel we're in unfamiliar territory in the form of a new experience of ourselves, a new plateau. And the ego is unfamiliar, it's in the unknown, and it wants to be in the known and the familiar, in the safe, which is understandable. But transformation cannot occur in the bosom of safety. The storm takes us out of this proclivity for static energy, and the storm moves us into motion. And in motion, we are out of control because we're moving. Exactly how a dance is. When you're dancing, you're not thinking. When you're in love, you're not thinking. When you're in love and you're in dance, you are out of control, and that's the fear. But then that fit out of that, in that lack of control and fear of vulnerability, is where the beauty emerges, is where the seed of a new flower can emerge. And that takes courage, that takes a fresh perspective to see the storm as not as an adversary, but as a willing, creative participant, as a part of you that is urging you to be anew, to be renewed, to be reborn. And definition pulls you back into the past, it pulls you back into the familiar, it pulls you back. Because it reclines, it resists, it removes itself from new, from transformation to growth. And the storm is this messenger. The storm within pulls you into new depths, into new heights sometimes, depending on its wisdom, depending on what you need, amor fati, to accept one's fate, to accept one's experience as what you need, not what you want. The ego wants safety, it wants confirmation of its bias, though the storm may pull you in directions unfamiliar and unknown, though that is what you need. And in those moments in the storm, you sink into it and you accept it. And you are in reverence of it, and you see God in it because you see it is teaching you if you allow it. And you form a relationship with the storm, a long-term relationship, one formed on the basis of a softness, a grace, an acceptance, a willingness to let go of control, as you do when you are in love or when you are overcome with the urge to dance. You let go in those moments because you feel something greater beyond the parameters, beyond the borders of control, and you plunge yourself into it. And that is where the beauty lies. That is where that is where transformation occurs. That is where life exists beyond definition, beyond the static energy of confirmation and familiarity. So I would invite you into that domain, into that dance, into that romantic love relationship with yourself, where you love yourself enough to let go of the definitions that pull you back into familiarity, to plunge yourself into the new terrain, to new experience, into transformation. Because that ultimately is where, as humanity, we exist in the micro and the macro. We have to make sacrifices of the familiar for the unfamiliar. And we have to willingly participate in this movement. And to enjoy the journey, to enjoy the motion, to accept the motion, and to begin to see the motion within, the movements that occur beyond definition, as an energy who wishes to help you. And once you shift that perspective, once that relationship has been created on new ground, on new fertile ground, then you may, when you experience the storm within, begin to understand that its essence is one of nurturing growth. And it is a natural process. As one disturbs the ground to plant a new seed, so does yourself. When new change is coming or on the horizon, or new changes, when you are ready for new change, you will feel the motion within of transformation, and you will feel shifts pulling left and right. And you will feel in moments out of control, you will feel in moments low or sad, as the earth is spoiled and renewed and moved within a new seed will be planted, and you are its divine parent. It is bestowed upon you because you are ready. And as long as you see it, not through definitions, but through experience, or if you don't even see it, in fact, you just feel it, would be the most apt way of living it. To not see it as something, but to feel it as an expression of yourself. And to simply allow its wisdom to come through. Because definitions are means to a concrete outcome. Though you cannot possibly know what you are capable of doing if you are willing to let go of the beliefs that tie you to stone, and begin to form a relationship with the movement of water where there are limitless possibilities and outcomes. To sink into the waters within your energy body, to allow experience to occur, to go left, to go right, to go up and go down, to feel happy, to feel sad, to feel inspired, to feel despair, to feel confused, to feel clear. Like an artist, you allow the paint brushstrokes to move as inspired. An artist isn't seeking definition, seeking experience, expression. And so you, as a conscious artist, every second of every day must allow these movements of water within to occur, and to not interfere egoically with defining and fragmenting and playing one part of you off against the other in good and bad acts of theatre, and to let go of the good and bad, let it dissolve into your body of eternal water, and to swim limitlessly in that state as you are unburdened with the stone-like structures of good and bad, right and wrong, and to become the artist you are meant to be in whatever way that feels naturally. That is your destiny. That is you right now, not in the future, right now, here now. The definition will tell you you are not ready or you are ready. But to take the action now to swim in the sea of your spiritual body takes no qualification. It takes no time. It is here and now. And I would invite you to explore that terrain, to dig into that terrain, and to surprise yourself with the depth and breadth of it, as it will consistently break down your definitions of who you think you are and what you are capable of. As you sink further and further in it, you begin to realize that your definitions of yourself are limited, and that you can, and that you can do way more and more and more. And the willingness to let go of definition provides you entrance into that sacred domain within yourself. Only once you have let the last definitions of your limiting beliefs burn and the ember flies and dissolves into the air, once that occurs and you are empty and light, you are able to float in your waters. If you are heavy and burdened with endless egoic definitions of self, you sink and you drown in the darkness of the water. Whereas if you are light and present and soft and graceful in yourself, you rise and you can float and you can play, and it becomes fun. In your energetic, watery body, where movement and ripples and motion is endless and free to display itself, because it's not limited to definition. Water is not limited to definition. Your energy your energetic body, your experience within is not limited to definition. So allow its fervent force to flow freely. That is your divine state. That is your natural state. And in that state, you will find the depth and breadth of your capacity and surprise yourself consistently. So have fun, allow the ups and downs, and enter back into your natural state. Bye.